Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. The countdown continues to August 2nd, when the nation will run out of money. And as lawmakers continue to battle whether to raise the debt ceiling, many of you are starting to feel scared. President Obama now says failure to reach a deal by August 2nd could have an immediate impact on many Americans who rely on money from the federal government to live. Republicans say the president's comment amounts to a scare tactic.
I cannot guarantee that those checks go out on August 3rd if we haven't resolved this issue, because there may simply not be the money in the coffers to do it.
After years of discussions and months of negotiations, I have little question that as long as this president is in the Oval Office, a real solution is probably unattainable.
The president says raising the debt ceiling is just a temporary fix, and Republicans need to find something more permanent. Meanwhile, seniors are worried as this battle rages they may not get their Social Security checks next month. Nana Akawa from our Reno affiliate KRXI has reaction.
Social Security is there for older people. They don't think older people need it. They do, very badly.
If senior citizens lose their Social Security checks, they say they will be left with nothing, homeless and without food. Darlene Rhodes was laid off 2 years ago and lost her home. She's finally been able to get back on her feet, but now she's full of fear again.
I'm going to go back down to zero again. I'm not sleeping at night. I'm constantly worrying because that's my only income. I wouldn't be able to pay anything at all.
Working at the senior center, Sandy Haying says seniors are facing an uncertain future.
If they don't have a place to live and any way to feed themselves, what does this eliminate the whole population over 60 in 1 month quick?
The senior citizens say they hope they are thought of when a deal is being made. They are people, they say, who should not be forgotten.
We are supposed to be here to take care of each other. And just because, you get old doesn't mean you're worthless. You're still a useful citizen and you still have a lot to offer, and I don't think it's fair.
Nana Okawa reporting for INN News.
Again, lawmakers have until August 2nd to come to an agreement. Meanwhile, the campaigning and fundraising must go on for Your Vote 2012, and President Obama has been busy. He raised more than $86 million in the second quarter of this year for his re-election campaign. The campaign released that figure in a video message emailed to donors this morning. Republicans say it appears the president is more concerned about saving his own job than creating them. Well, the heat may be on in our nation's capital these days, but the heat is really on in many other parts of the country. Nearly half of the U.S. is seeing temperatures in the 90s and 100. That has people staying indoors, filling cooling centers, and swimming pools. Speaking of water, it's so hot in Oklahoma City, even the water pipelines can't take it. The city has had several breaks, like this one. When the 12-inch pipe burst, water shot up at least 40 feet in the air, falling down onto a restaurant. It's also so hot there, you can fry an egg on a windshield, like one man did.
Temperature right now is about 181 degrees. And we'll see what happens to it. Gonna come back in a minute. Okay, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes now. I guess it's about the best it's gonna do. I'm gonna get a spatula and look at this and see if it's even remotely cooked. Looks somewhat cooked to me.
Wow. Much of Oklahoma is expected to be in the 100s this week. Well, the heat is now off of Cindy Anthony. State prosecutors say the mother of recently acquitted Florida mom Casey Anthony will not face perjury charges. Cindy Anthony was suspected of lying in her testimony during Casey's trial. She told the court that she, not her daughter, searched chloroform on the family computer. Prosecutors previously argued no one but Casey could have made the searches because she was the only one home. But Cindy testified she was home that day. Cindy's former employers later testified she was at work when those searches were made. By the way, Casey Anthony will be let out of jail this Sunday. She was sentenced to 4 years for lying to police, but is getting out for time already served and good behavior. A federal appeals court has ruled the Tucson shooting suspect can refuse antipsychotic medication. at least for now. The court ruled Jared Lee Loughner can refuse the medicine while he appeals the treatment, which was prescribed by prison doctors. Loughner is accused in the January shooting spree that killed 6, hurt 13 others, including Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. A hearing on that medicine issue is expected at the end of August. Well, she changed the way people viewed alcohol abuse and gave people hope for battling their addictions. Yesterday, family and friends and dignitaries said goodbye to former First Lady Betty Ford. The Ford family gathered in Palm Desert, California for her funeral. Ford was eulogized by her close friend Rosalind Carter, another former First Lady.
Someone who was willing to do things a bit differently than they'd been done before. Someone who had the courage and grace to fight fear, stigma, and prejudice wherever she encountered it.
Former President George W. Bush, along with First Lady Michelle Obama, former First Lady Nancy Reagan, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also attended her funeral. Mrs. Ford died Friday at the age of 93. Well, the man to first tell us the story of a lovely lady and her 3 lovely girls has died, along with the Brady Bunch. Sherwood Schwartz also created Gilligan's Island. He died yesterday after being hospitalized for an infection. He was 94 years old. The Arnold will soon return to the big screen. Reps for Arnold Schwarzenegger say he will appear in an upcoming Western movie called Last Stand. 2 months ago, word broke that the former California governor fathered a son with the family's former housekeeper. After that scandal, Schwarzenegger said he was putting his acting career on hold and pulled out from the film. His wife, Maria Shriver, has filed for divorce. Kidnapped at 11, raped, and held captive for 18 years until she was found with her 2 daughters. J.C. Dugard's amazing story of survival is appearing to be a bestseller. Her book, called A Stolen Life, was released yesterday and sold out at 2 bookstores in Reno, Nevada.
The reason I'm buying it is we lived in California when this happened, and my daughter was a teenager, so I felt very close, to the situation that it could happen to any child.
If the book is sold out at your area bookstore, it's still available online. Time for Global News Now. The search for 7 Americans missing since a charter fishing boat sank off the coast of Mexico nearly 2 weeks ago is now over. The Coast Guard says it searched more than 7,300 miles on 10 missions to the area near where that boat sank. Still no signs of the missing men have turned up. At least 1 American was killed when the boat with more than 40 people aboard sank in rough waters on July 3rd. Dozens of passengers and crew members escaped or were rescued. Iraq appears to be moving forward on plans to buy as many as 18 U.S.-built F-16 fighter jets. The price tag? About $3 billion. U.S. military officials say the fighters would be used to protect Iraq's airspace. The Obama administration and Congress must approve the sale before any arms are exchanged. If you are looking for the world's most expensive city, you need to turn to the poorest continent. A global consulting firm says Luanda in the African nation of Angola is the priciest city in the world. On average, you'll pay $28 US for a new CD or $20 for a club sandwich and a soda. Or if you're looking to rent, brace yourself, you will pay $7,000 per month for a 2-bedroom apartment. It is the 2nd year in a row Luanda has topped Mercer's list. By the way, coming in number 2 as a priciest city is Tokyo. New York remains the costliest American city, but it's ranked 32nd worldwide. And that's your Global News Now. Well, a truck crash had a small Idaho town buzzing. It was carrying 14 million bees. The bees got loose when the semi-truck rolled on a highway. Fire crews sprayed the bees with water and foam to try to kill them, but they missed several thousand. People are concerned about bees still in the area and bears coming for honey. Well, bees aren't the only things flying these days. Cue the Jetsons music. From the highway to the sky, cars that can fly are now reality. We'll take you along for the ride. Coming up next.